Okay, welcome back. So hopefully you have something like this created already. You've got your foundation wall going all the way around, 12-inch thick wall, cement foundation wall, 18-inch thick cement slab. I'm going to leave mine open in the middle. And I realized that what I'm going to probably propose is that it actually will have a tree probably coming up through the middle. And in this design, you can actually design it around an existing tree, if that was the desire that you had for your lot. And then you can see here, I brought the site elements back. I think a lot of you guys, I had you no-show those. So just go over here first, if you haven't done so already, to hidden geometry and click on all of those holding control and right click and say unhide. It'll say unhide right here. And then click that back off, done. Okay, so decking. I've put some resources in the Google Classroom that I want you to look through that are valuable. And here's a couple suppliers, Sherwood and this FP Supply. There's a lot of other suppliers, but both of them, if you look on their links, have pretty much a really great detailed drawings and information about the I-joists that they sell and make. And so from these tables, they sometimes refer to these as span tables, because basically, based on the length that the I-joist is spanning, you can spec it out. So you can spec out the joist that you'll need or can use. So how this works is, so this would be a typical span 19 feet, right? And then it gives you the details about the I-joist itself. What is the model number? What is its flange? What if it's top mount and its face mount? So it's just information like measurements. Most of these are going to be in that case where it's an I-joist that's either going to be basically 12 inches or a whole foot, or you can see there's 9.5, which would be classified probably more as a 10-incher. So you got a 10 and 12-inch I-joists. These are laminated up, engineered joists that have a lot more strength and rigidity and structure. So most people are using these, and you can have them every 2 feet instead of every foot, which is really nice. So make sure you're looking through these resources. Let me pull this picture up and talk about this, because this will apply in certain places. So you see most houses that we live in are built to this understanding. They're probably 24 inches or roughly feet wide, if they are wide, that wide, because they had 12-inch joists originally, and then there was a girder to support them in the middle of the house. Now, with our design, we can do a lot more, but I'm going to say that we should probably try and spec out to stick to the 19-foot joists. So if my math is correct, I'm going to measure from this edge to this edge. And you see, that's 47 feet right now. And that's 15 feet. So that would be fine spanning. But my problem would be here. I'd have to probably, I'm going to need to have 2 beams going across here and here in order to support the longer I-joists. I can see that already. But I'm just going to have to put them in and then go cut and trim them as necessary on my project here. So this decking, by the way, would be for in a case where we're not going to build an ICF wall. And I know I've mentioned ICF walls, but the reason being is I want to model the elements of normal construction for you guys so that you can learn how to deck it out and build it like most builders are building houses with lumbered walls. Okay, so to put in an I-joist, you basically are going to draw, by the way, the profile. But let me also, meaning that's why I put this picture in here. You just kind of like come here. We're going to put the rim support board all the way around our foundation. And then we're going to draw one of these cross sections of the I-joist like this. And then we're going to extrude that and make copies of that. So to make that support board, in fact, let me do that one more thing. Going back into the classroom, you'll find this really descriptive section of what we're doing. So here you have the foundation, we have the top of the wall, we're going to put the sill board down. And then we're going to put the decking onto it, a rim joist, exterior sheathing, and then the wall studs. That's a perfect section to try and memorize for you guys, because that's essentially, and then the flooring itself. And this is going to be a nice stiff and rigid flooring, and it isn't going to creak with these solid I-joists in there. So again, the offset tool is going to be our friend. And I think in the case of that section that's a 10-inch, 10 by, or 8, 8 by 10. So I should be able to offset this by 4 inches. There we go. Now watch, I can just use my extrude tool, right? Let me go pick it first. And I'm going to pull it up for 2 inches. And I can, it actually didn't create it as separate material on this side. You see that? So when I'm pulling up this time, I've got to hit Control. There it is. Now it's a separate part. I think the 2 by 10s aren't actually 2 inches thick. They're 1 inch and 7/8, but I'm just going to round up to 2 for our purposes, okay? And then paint it wood. And plywood in this case, or actually it's a long, yeah, that'll work, that finish. Lumber, it's lumber. All right, put that in. It's kind of fun to build, as long, you know, when you take your time. It's a lot easier than putting the real thing in, believe me, out there on the work site, sweating your buns off, doing the real work, which it can be rewarding. And obviously, it's good paying and can also be rewarding too. But sometimes it's just physical hard work. Get all those cut. They would actually be all, by the way, there would be a, even if we weren't going ICF walls, there would be a rebar coming up through the top of all these walls and going through a hole drilled into this sill. That's right, this sill board that we're putting down. There would be rebar sticking up through holes drilled in the sill board, and actually the walls themselves would have holes. So the wall studs themselves would have holes, and also they would anchor. Those would serve as anchors to hold the house down, say for high winds. So I'll show you what that looks like here. This one kind of shows the best picture. And that's how it's done. And the hole is drilled into the wall stud and through the sill board and actually molded into the concrete. And then you thread a nut on top to hold the wall down. We're going to skip that element right here. Okay, and now I'm ready to, and by the way, we'll finish the other parts of this lesson later, the rim joist later on. But we'll focus on trying to model up the I-joist for right now. So I think that the orientation that makes the most sense is going this way for my particular build, but that's going to have issues with my house. I'm going to have beam supports on both front and back for the long spans where it's going this way, where it's going this way, and this way. I'm going to have long spans there that I need to support underneath. But I can at least just start. And where I'm going to start to put that on is I'm going to actually kind of pick it off that plane. And it's just going to start as a rectangle on this face. So I'm going to hold shift, actually here, do it more normal. There we go. Sorry, guys. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh my God. Here, I gotta unclick it. All right, there it is. So in this case, I'm going to design this. I'm going to try to design this to use a 12-inch I-joist. And I can actually peek at that catalog again really quick. Yeah. That's the most available size. That's the more standard type of I-joist. And you can see in this case that it's anywhere from 2 to 5/16 as a width, all the way up to 3.5. And you're talking about the longer spans that can handle right there. So 46, I think that one should get it done right there. And that's got the 2 and 5/16. That's this one. So actually I could go up, sorry, it's this one right here. So it's going to be 11 and 7/8 tall, the overall rectangle, and it's going to be 2 and 5/16 wide. So actually I can just type that in over here on the left-hand side. You can see it. So I will type in, I'm just going to go ahead and round that one up to 12 inches for us. Sorry that I'm really struggling with this. Try this again. There we go. 12 inches. And then comma, that's the height. And then the width is 2 and 5/16. That's a quarter. We'll call it 2 1/4 inches. And then the other top part of that is 1 3/8 is what the width or height of the top and bottom beams there that make up that little I-joist assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in like that. And then, I know that that second measurement needs to be 1 3, was it 1 3/8? That's perfect. 1 3/8, just like it came, just like it defaulted to. There we go. I'm going to do it again. And then lastly, I'm going to put a line going down the middle like that. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to change that. Well, actually, no, I'm going to leave that in there. I'm going to do the rectangle. I'm hit Control and do the center point rectangle now. And I know that I want the width there to match what it comes through on the drawing, and that it's only 3/8 to the web in the middle. It's called the web part of the beam. So here, I'll have it default kind of like it is, and then have it be 3/8. See if I can get this to be 3/8. There it is. And now you can actually go back and delete that line. You don't need it anymore. And you can delete that one and that one. Now you have, actually, if you want to, you can also delete that one and that one. And you can make it look like the plywood that it is, really. And then you're going to extrude it across that length. Get the saw cut. Now I'm going to be able to make copies of this as I go along and fill up that first level of the foundation. And maybe what we'll do is we'll save that for the next lesson. Just color this thing for now. You'll probably want to group it. So it's all, pick all the separate faces and put it in its own group. And then we can make copies of them and this thing and cut it and size it for the different locations. We're going to use 2-foot on center spacing. So we won't need to, we're going to try and avoid needing to make one every foot and go to one every 2 feet. That's what the builder really is shooting for. Okay, that's enough for right now.